Before I begin, I have to thank two people, Kon and then Anil, who were so kind enough to invite World Water Assessment Program to present, what we are doing as far as digital twins is concerned. Just to give it at WAP, we produce, a United Nations World Water Development Report, which is the UN systems authoritative wisdom on fresh water. And then, we bring out, one publication every year. But in an age of climate volatility and rapid digital change, the tools we have relied on must be reimagined. So I think, my presentation will be all about, how we are reimagining. But before I actually, delve into it, I'll simply introduce World Water Development report to you again, and also World Water Assessment Program. UNESCO WAP leads global scale freshwater assessment on behalf of UN system and responds directly to the call of UN Water, which is the highest possible coordinating mechanism established by UN. We use knowledge and data generated by different UN agencies. We are involved in diagnostics and capacity building that support water governance worldwide, which includes gender-responsive approaches and multi-scale assessments using harmonized indicators. But as the member states are demanding more local and quick responses, our role must grow from the static traditional analysis to much dynamic guidance. To become more relevant, we must now move from responding to past to stimulate the future. And this is what we are trying to do. These are the World Water or UN World Water Development Series that were published from 2003 to 2005. Each report reflects the changing challenges in the water world, but all share a common objective to inform policy through rigorous science. Now we must ask ourselves, what's the next step in this evolution we are publishing? One of the things that I must say, given the fact that I will be inviting you to collaborate with us, there is a very interesting thing that these reports have very extremely long life. Even reports which were published in 2014 are still downloaded today. This long life, self-life, actually confirms the trust and reliance placed on UNESCO's World Water Assessment Program by governments, researchers, and civil society alike. So this also means that we have a responsibility to modernize, this process now and produce knowledge that is quick, as well as, something that is delivered, much quickly. So there are a couple of inflection points, and this is something that yesterday and day before yesterday, all the ministers talked about how by 2020 freshwater demand will outstrip sustainable supply by almost 40%. Over 70% of natural disasters that are taking place right now are water related. This is something that we also reported in the recent report that came out. But our systems remain fragmented, still analog in many cases, and reactive. As the UN Secretary General in his closing remark stated, that was in 2024, he says that we urgently need a new global water information system powered by the 21st century tools. So I think it is something that we are discussing today is pretty much 21st century tool. One of the main things that happened in 2024 was also the Pact of the Future. And this is UN's, the vision that it is placing itself beyond 2030 when the Sustainable Development Goal, ends its mandate. So we have to learn from what member states have already demanded, through by publishing a Pact for the Future. So we have to concede that traditional water management has certain limitation, and the member states are requesting for a local and regional scale assessment. And this is something, World Water Assessment Program must, like evolve itself into. So traditional assessments are time consuming, sometimes, fragmented, and maybe, they may be outdated. They lack integration between groundwater, surface water, and so forth. They operate on incompatible spatial and temporal scales, disconnected from real-time events. Most critically, they overlook member states' request for context-specific and localized insight. And this is where we thought uh, there may be a reason for us to move the entire World Water Assessment Program from latency to immediacy. So this is where the digital twin actually comes into fore. One of the things, that I must, like admit that there are over, 100 definitions of digital twins. And I think, like our chair, knows many more than 100. But fundamentally, a digital twin is a bi-directional couple virtual replica of a physical water system. So this is something where we are moving toward. It continuously informed by streaming data from in situ sensors. So each observation, socioeconomic databases and citizen science, everything can somehow be included or integrated in digital twins to take things forward. And this is not a model per se, but it's a redefinition of how we observe, stimulate, and simulate and manage water systems. So this is a game-changing, this has game-changing capabilities, and these capabilities are profound. They enhance forecasting by blending physical-based models with AI surrogates. They stimulate, cross-sector impacts from floods to sanitation breakdowns. They support real-time, decentralized decision-making and allow for robust uncertainty analysis. And one of the things, that we have found in applying digital twins at a local scale is it allows for downscaling at a much faster pace. So this is something, very, it has excited us. So what does this mean for World Water Assessment Program? Digital twins would allow us to build living water assessment. So in fact, from a global assessment that we publish, every year, what we are trying to do is, publish, like smaller scale down, assessment that can be almost, like update on it by itself so that, they become living water assessment. They are interactive, continuously updated systems instead of static systems. So we would provide predictive insights using this a dashboard and scenario modeling. And so these are the kind of things that we have integrated right now. What we have, and this is something that that our chair has also said that it has got certain implementation challenges. The primarily if we are looking at the countries in the global south, we lack high resolution modeling infrastructure. GPUs are almost non-existing in many parts of the world. The complexity of like high performance computer and so forth. We have also assessed that. And institutional setup are very much fragmented and overlapping mandates are there. So we are in fact trying to address it. But there is a silver lining that we have. And the silver lining is UNESCO is well positioned to address these barriers. And UNESCO WAP can help shape open data standards or frameworks, drawing on UNESCO's open science recommendation. And as we bring AI into water governance, we can also utilize UNESCO's recommendation on artificial intelligence. This is something that our chair, as well as the director of Water Sciences Division, also talked about. So right now, what we are doing is, there are certain, partnerships are already in the making. We are working, and we have got, and if you want to, I didn't bring, like, I'm not, showing those things, but with the help of, University of Texas, we are in a process of developing how citizens can quickly respond to the heat waves and find a shelter in heat shelters, which the city has created. Also provide for, like a more water rationing. So that is also utilized. With University of Essex, we are working to advance on open data system, how that, so all of these will, there are three position papers or policy briefs, that will soon, publish. And one thing, that we are also doing is we are trying to look at and developing, like, the how water is being utilized in data centers, because data centers are directly, competing for water at city scales from the user. So this is again, another thing, and you may have, recently read a case that was reported even in the news. So these partnerships signal WAP's shift toward networked intelligence. So this is where, we have hope. So the city of Austin is one, and now right now, we're working with, city of Porto, where we are working, and also we're trying to expand the project, because we have put together a project proposal and we have submitted to a major foundation in the US. And we hope that, if this project, goes through, we will have a lot to talk about. So right now, what I'm doing is, we are inviting partnerships. So let's co-develop more digital twins, pilots in different parts, and we'll be more than happy to work with you to contribute to open source models and ecosystems, that needs to be somehow, latched into this, and to ensure that digital infrastructure for water is equitable, ethical, and empowering. And in the end, what I will do is, this is something, that the value that World Water Assessment Program brings in. So this is the analysis of 2023 report, and this is not about just replacing expertise. Again, I must, submit that. It's about augmenting our current scope at the global scale, and then, taking assessment to a much finer scale. And this is something, that we want to do, and we are inviting partnerships now. And if you want to see our project, what we have done in city of Austin, or how we are replicating it in the city of Porto, and then of course, we are also discussing with the city of Sao Paulo. I'll be more than happy to discuss with you. Let's twin it together. That will be my answer. Thank you so much.